Bonita's mom reached out to her on graduation day through Mint. She said, "Congratulations on the day you've been waiting for," and added that she was already looking for a job and starting a new life with someone local. The young woman in her graduation gown didn't know whether to be happy or sad when she heard that. It seemed like her mother was just reinforcing that she was willing to move on with her life without her. But strangely, she didn't cry. She just nodded, acknowledging the message her best friend had conveyed. As for Kem, the last time she went back to the old house to pick up some of her remaining things, she heard that he would likely be locked up for many years on charges of attempted murder and possession of drugs for sale. Everyone has a price to pay for their own actions, sooner or later. In the end, she also needed to start her new life. "Your girlfriend looks amazing today," Mint whispered after noticing a certain serious-looking woman approaching. She clearly wasn't enjoying the heat. "Don't compliment too much around her." "Why? I don't want to always answer the same question when she asks me if she's pretty and stylish at the same time." Come to think of it, she never told anyone that if she was complimented with the right words, she would find some way to tease or demand that they repeat it over and over again. And most importantly, don't go gossiping behind my back about that little toy you gave me, saying that, "You just make me more curious, Bonita." Then you should know that your toy left me sleepless, exhausted, and unwilling to do anything for days. I am lying. That was exactly my goal. Mint, don't you dare do that again. She just blinked and smiled. "I don't promise anything, but I'll try." On Bonita's graduation day, there was nothing grand. She just received flowers from the person she loved, words of congratulations, and a warm hug that came along with, "I've always been proud of you. You're amazing from day one until today. But even if you weren't, I would still love you the same." And damn, Queen made her cry with just 2 sentences. In the end, she couldn't help but ask, "What is love to you?" Kirafat raised her eyebrows. This was a question she didn't even need to think too much about. It's being faithful to one person for the rest of your life, and I'm already faithful to you. Kirafat wasn't an irrational person, but sometimes she wanted to be. She wasn't very patient either, but she had to be when she saw how much Bonita was adored at work. Her mischievous little girl had a strange way of winning people over easily. She was friendly and got along with everyone, unlike how it was with her. And since it had been some time since her stepfather's election, and she had won by a landslide, the journalists and opponents called a truce. Perhaps because attacking from that side had not worked as expected. Now, finally, she and her beloved could live as they should. "Are you two very close?" she asked after Bonita told her that a co-worker had asked her out for the weekend. It was no big deal. Letting her live her life was the right thing to do. But Kirafat still couldn't get used to it. "Now she is the person I am closest to. What time will you be back? I don't know for sure, but it's probably late. You don't have to wait for me for dinner." Even saying that, Kirafat waited. Bonita didn't want to work at her company because she knew she wouldn't feel comfortable being both her girlfriend and her subordinate. Her determination to find a job on her own made her respect her choice. No one would believe that Bonita had the most beautiful smile in the world. When she was happy, her eyes would shine. It was at that moment that Kirafat promised herself that she would give her anything she wanted. The sun had already set, but Bonita had not yet returned. Kirafat picked up her iPad and began reading international news, but soon lost interest and sighed. Bonita's name appeared on the screen, causing her brow to furrow. "Do you want me to come get you?" she asked because she didn't know the reason for the call. Normally, if she wanted me to pick her up, she would let me know in advance. Did something happen? Kirafat didn't take long to arrive at the location. She frowned slightly when she saw that her beloved was sitting far away from her co-workers. "Queen." Before she could even approach, Bonita called out to her anxiously and came towards her quickly, which was unusual. "What is it?" Bonita sighed. She just wanted to go out, have fun, and buy a gift with her own salary for the person she loved. But she didn't expect a co-worker, whom she considered close, to confess her feelings, despite knowing that she already had someone. She asked Kirafat to pick her up just to make it clear that their relationship was real. She didn't mind losing someone who made her feel uncomfortable as long as it ensured her and her girlfriend's peace. Why that long face? Give me a kiss. What? A kiss. What is it? Normally, Bonita didn't make requests like this in public. It was Kirafat who always took the initiative. Are you bothered by something? She asked softly. If you don't answer, next time I won't let you go out alone. Babe. She didn't answer. Kirafat sighed and looked past her, toward the group. She recognized the face as someone Bonita had shown in photos of co-workers before. She always kept herself informed, even when it wasn't necessary. Did a friend of yours bother you? I'm not a child, Bonita retorted. So what are you? Why don't you talk? I can't read your mind. I really thought I would have a friend, but in the end, she's not a real friend. So next time, if you want to go somewhere or do something, let me know. I'll go with you. No, a girlfriend is a girlfriend. What's this story about being friends? Bonita's forehead was lightly tapped with a flick. Don't pretend not to understand. I love you. Stop letting me live my life alone and come live with me for real. Understand? Bonita knew very well why her girlfriend always gave in so much. She was afraid that Bonita would leave behind the life she was supposed to be living. Even when she showed dissatisfaction, she never said a word to stop anything. She really was someone who thought more of others than herself, as King always said. Just because you don't live your life like everyone else doesn't mean you can't live it with me. What else did King tell you? I don't need him to tell me anything. I know. My girlfriend is very strict with herself. You need to relax a little. You have your own life. Why should I interfere? Bonita shook her head, stood on her tiptoes, and kissed the other's chin without caring about the looks around before saying, My world cannot exist without Phuying, and the world of Phuying should have me too. Understand? She always tried to fill in everything she thought was missing, afraid of losing something. But at the same time, she forgot to look at herself and realize how much she had already left aside in her own life. Do you love me that much? Not so much, but it's the greatest love of my life. That morning off, Kirafat had a meeting. She woke up earlier than usual to avoid the alarm clock disturbing her girlfriend, who was a light sleeper and woke up easily. However, no matter how hard she tried to move silently, Bonita woke up anyway. The young woman rubbed her eyes and, sleepily, walked over to where Kirafat was, buttoning her shirt in front of the mirror. Are you going to work? Uh-huh. Are you awake yet? It's cold. That's why I woke up. But I covered you properly. The blanket doesn't warm up. Phuying's hug is warmer. I didn't know if I had said this before, but Bonita always became more cunning and sweet in the morning, as if her stubbornness was still playing in her dreams. Let me help. Kirafat unbuttoned the buttons on her shirt and turned so Bonita could button them for her. Babe, Queen's lips landed softly on Bonita's forehead as she lifted her face. I haven't brushed my teeth yet. Bonita pouted and pressed her lips together, complaining. She had already said several times that she didn't like being kissed before brushing her teeth. Then go brush your teeth so I can kiss you again. Who said I'm going to leave? Won't you let me kiss you? If you come back late and the meeting takes a long time, there'll be no kiss. And if I come back early, can I get a kiss? You can get 2 kisses if you come back early. And if I take too long, I don't gain anything. If you want to know, try it. But if you come back soon, maybe I'll give you something else. Like what? Like that new toy you bought. Did you think that if you hid it I wouldn't see it? Did you go through my things? If your things are for my use, I have the right to look. So, are you coming back early or late, Daddy? Stop provoking me. I'm not teasing, babe. Yes? You know that if you keep talking like that, you'll end up getting your comeuppance, right? And what can you do to me? Because if this meeting goes on for too long, then you're going to be in trouble. Your mouth.
No kisses.
Kirafat sighed, pulled Bonita's waist, and lightly squeezed her hips as punishment for the morning's provocation. I better get back sooner than you expect. When would this queen stop being so dangerous to her heart?